Hey y'all, I thought I'd play around a little bit and start trying to get with the times and do some video. And I put a new pattern up on my blog today, and I thought I would show you some of the techniques that I use. It's nothing that requires brain surgery. It's nothing original. It's just something that I do. I create backgrounds like this a lot. The first thing I do is I apply gesso with a palette knife, and this one happens to be the Americana Premium gesso. Doesn't matter, use whatever gesso you have and spread it out. You can make it as thin or as thick as you want. Gesso dries quickly, so it's really good for backgrounds. So just keep spreading it and add more if you need it. Take away if you don't need it. It doesn't really matter if you get the background completely covered because you're going to be painting it anyway. So you can put as much texture as you wish. If you're going to have writing, you probably don't want to have a lot of texture. So that's what you do. Next, I like to use the fluid acrylics for my background. It takes such a small amount of paint. You can make them as dark as you want, as light as you want. One of my favorite tools is the little mini spritzer. It's by Ranger, and I got it at Joann's. I spritz water on it pretty heavily till it's pretty runny. Then I pick up a color. It takes, as I said, such a small amount of paint, and I just kind of dab it on and let it spread out. Since this is a small area, I don't want big old patches of color, just some small one to keep it in the same size. Purple is really strong, so I usually mix it with white to tone it down. If you want it stronger, put it stronger. No biggie. Just do what you like. And then green is always a good color to tie things together. Usually when you're painting something, you want your background to reflect the colors that you're using, but that's not always true. It's all what you like. If it gets too watery, just dab it up with a paper towel. Isn't that cool? And if you don't have the fluid acrylics, then just use the good old Americana paints that you have. I'm an Americana girl. I have been for a long time. The fluid acrylics are more transparent, while so many of the Americana acrylics are opaque. And so when you add the fluid acrylics, the colors will show through each other. But if you use these Americana colors, they're pretty much going to cover up. Somebody got a little too much water on that. I'm using Aqua Sky, Hauser Light Green, and Royal Purple. Again, basically the same colors that I used with the fluid acrylics. So you get basically the same effect. This is the fluid acrylics, and this is the Americana. Next, I have prepared a round piece of wood with the design that I shared. The one that I shared is on a canvas, but you can always adapt anything to whatever surface you like or that you have. I begin usually adding the writing because on a round object it's hard to know where to start and stop, especially if you freehand it like I do. So I add the writing first. I just freehanded it with a mechanical pencil, and if you don't have a mechanical pencil, I suggest you get one. They're just great for designs. I think I'm going to do this writing with soft black. I decided to use soft black on the church instead of black. So the first thing you do is line it. Go in the direction that the paint hairs are meant to go. They don't like to be used like a pencil. Keep your paint watered down and have a good liner. This one is a 10 alt. I always say 10-0. I guess alt's the right word. And every brand is different. This is a Princeton Select, and this is a Royal Aquilon. They're both 10 alts, but look at the difference. One's almost like a script liner, but it's not. So use what you feel comfortable using. I like short hairs. Just continue doing your lettering, slow and steady. If you get offline of your pattern, it's no biggie. When it dries well, just go back and erase it. But I do try to keep it somewhat even throughout. This was my brother's favorite hymn. I don't know if he still likes it or not, but it's one of those oldies but goodies. We might not always like what happens to us in our life, but if we can learn to be content, it sure makes things easier. Doesn't mean we have to stay there and that we can't get better and improve. But we just need to hang on until the storm passes. Okay, I think you got the hang of that, and just keep doing that. Now this is where I tend to enjoy the way that I learned to paint. I'm a self-taught painter, so when I added shading and highlights, I just used the dirty brush method. I kept adding paint till it got to where I wanted it. So with this, what I'm going to do is load, this one is a number 6 flat. Load it with my titanium white. And then just like I would for a float, I take it through the corner, and I'm going to show you. That's what it would look like. But I don't bother brushing it out because it's going to happen while I'm painting. Let's see. So I just start on the edge and just start outlining it like I would with a pencil. I'm a choppy painter. It works for me. If you do something different, that's fine. Chances are I'm never going to know. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. I outline everything first. And then I'm going to come back and add the white. But I'm going to still use the same dirty brush, so it's going to have some of the soft black in it. This gives the look of all the palette knife painting that's so popular now. And don't worry if it's not straight. Good grief. This is supposed to look primitive. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. Then I pick up just straight white, and I'm going to paint all this in there. If later you need to come back and add the shadows of the outside, you can do that. No biggie. I think sometimes we stress over things that don't matter. Painting, to me, is to be enjoyable. And if I'm going to have to stress out, I don't want to be doing it. But if you think differently, it's okay too. It's absolutely fine with this style to leave some of that background showing through. Kind of adds another dimension. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a tree while I'm here. You do not need a pattern to add a tree. Start at the base. Kind of put a little curve and come up. Do it on the other side. Now you can add the branches with this brush, and it doesn't matter there again if they're choppy or not. I usually go ahead and do this with a liner, but since I'm here, this is what we're doing. Most of it's going to be covered up by the leaves anyway. Okay. I'm going to load it back now with just the soft black, and I'm going to add a cross. Let's see how this happens. How this one's going to do. One of mine was good and one was bad on the other one. If it's not right, you can always come back with your liner and fix it up a little bit. Then I'm going to add some little vents. Look like eyes, don't they? You can add the roof the same way on the edge. Or make a stroke, doesn't matter. You can add the doors, and this is another one of those. Mine are all crooked. I think on the original I made a square and then put those in it, so you can come back and do that. It's not going to be as neat. But you can always say, well, that's exactly how I wanted it to be. I guess if an artist can have happy trees, they can have happy crooked doors. Let's see how I would normally do this. I'd make a square. And then come back and put the little ones inside it. You can do this with a liner, it's probably easier. Why make something easy? To make the steps, I added the soft black with more white, trying to get a gray, and I just came across pulling down little strokes. Then I came back to add a little of the darker. That's what I like about paint. It's just paint. You can always fix something. Well, most of the time. Now, with the lettering, if we got it all in with our liner, we come back and we can give it some more texture to make it look like the writing that's so popular today. What you're going to do is make the downstrokes thicker. On the pattern, I've put lines that can help guide you. I'm getting a little better, so I don't need as much guidance getting mine done. I'm still not very good at it, but that's okay. I do the best I can. And practice makes perfect, or practice makes it better. You can go to the inside or the outside, whichever you think's best. I tend to, on my S's, go on the outside. Those are down strokes. The E, I'm going to go on the outside of this one because the little loop isn't very big. I didn't do so hot when I was writing that one, but it's okay. It'll work out. I keep saying it's primitive. This goes pretty quickly, as you can tell. I just really like the look of it. I've been having fun. This M's pretty funky looking, but that's okay too. It needs love. When I write, I try to keep my letters as up and down as I can. It tends to make it easier to add the thickness to them. Sometimes you need to add a second coat, and that's okay too. Just as you do it more, you'll get more comfortable and you'll learn what you need to do. Okay, and there's that lettering. This is really hard for me to paint because I always hold my stuff. I'm going to go ahead and add the window. In my little church, we had purplish, grayish windows, and I always thought they were so pretty, and they were so different. So I added these with purple. This is very similar to my home church. It grew over the years to become quite a big building. And then, as I said in my pattern packet, it's kind of been sad to watch it die. But that's just what happens. People grumble, and we all grow at different levels. And there just comes a time things happen. Sometimes you have to move on. Everything in life changes, and that's okay. As long as it's a change for the better. So there you go. Just do whatever you like. I'm going to go back to the one before and show you what I did. I used the same dirty brush and try to get as much of the water out as you can. I'm going to load it again with the white, drag it through the soft black, and then I'm just going to start adding some lines. You can come back and work with them, or just do it quickly. Old wooden churches, they just have a special place in my heart. If you want, you can come back with your straight white and add some really white places, because for some strange reasons, white buildings fade in some places, but don't in others. I guess all buildings are like that. If you need to fix your roof again, just fix it. With the liner brush, I'm going to add some branches. Personally, I don't like to see trees that are all filled in. I like to see a little air blowing through. So I use a deerfoot brush a lot of times. I pounce up and down. It doesn't matter if you get some of that brown in there. It just adds another color to it. It's a really tall tree. So let's give some little short branches down here. Let's get it where you like it. Then, that's Hauser light green. Then I come back with a little bit of lemonade and add that on top. When I do this, I just work on one tree at a time. And that basically is everything that I know to tell you. So now you know everything that I know. That's kind of scary, isn't it? I always come in and ground whatever I paint. Because it's round, that tree is going to be kind of crooked. That's okay. Just add a little green. And there you go. I hope you've had fun laughing at me, trying to figure out what I'm doing. But hey, maybe I'll get better, maybe I won't. It's all okay. Y'all have a good day and know that God loves you and you're loved by the one who knows you the most. See you later.